Hey, it's me, the Soy Pill. We've all been there. You've got a new favorite TV show. The plot is solid. The characters are well written. You start binging this show like a Somali child with UN rations. But just when it's getting good, one of the characters says something woke.
So like,
Black Lives Matter.
and killer cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers.
The word woke is being thrown around everywhere. College is woke, corporations are woke, the army is woke, but worst of all, your TV is woke. But what is woke? For the uninformed, when people, usually conservatives, complain about woke media, they generally mean any TV show or movie that somehow incorporates progressive politics into the theme, characters, or overall message.
Get woke, go broke. I did it!
Now, this exists in a lot of media, but I'm mostly going to be focused on Disney and comic book stuff, because that's what I watch, and that's what a lot of angry internet nerds like to yell about.
Invincible is feminist propaganda.
Some of the more notable examples of wokeness are changing all the Ghostbusters into women, renaming Slave 1 to Boba Fett's Starship.
I gotta say, Boba, this is one beauty of a ship. Not crazy about the name, though.
Depicting immigration control as inhumane, in what I can only hope is the last Terminator movie.
Where do they take the new prisoners?
They're called detainees.
Woke media can also refer to changing characters' races or sexualities to make a show more diverse, like that Annie remake, the upcoming Little Mermaid movie, or literally everything Netflix has ever made.
I wanted to portray Hitler in a way he was always meant to be portrayed. As a proud woman of color.
It's also considered woke to remove or change characters because they're deemed problematic. Some notable examples are Speedy Gonzalez or Jeffrey Epstein. So why is everyone so mad about this? Well, woke media is seen as people trying to inject a political agenda into entertainment. A lot of viewers just want to sit back and enjoy the medium as an escape from shitty reality. And when they see these explicit political messages, it shatters their immersion because now they have to think about real life. People also like to complain about race-swapping characters. Now, I get that making maybe Clark Kent's Superman black doesn't make sense. Making that Superman black makes just as much sense as making Black Panther a white guy. Now, you can add diversity with a new version of the character without replacing the old one, like Miles Morales as Spider-Man. But some of the stuff people are complaining about is so inconsequential. The most recent examples I saw were from the new show Invincible, which is an adaptation of the comic. They race-swapped knockoff Batman, who dies in the first episode. The green superhero, who dies in the first episode. And who could forget about Amber, the character who I forgot about in the comic, because the entire point of her character is to be rejected by the main character so that he can get with his more interesting love interest. This complaining is really ironic, coming from the crowd that calls the left snowflakes. Oh, did the little baby get the red Lego block instead of the green one? Oh no. But also, this is not exclusively a conservatives versus woke thing. For the liberals and left-leaners of the audience, if you want to experience what conservatives are feeling right now, go watch the South Park episode Bored Girls. In this episode, Macho Man Randy Savage decides to identify as a woman.
I can't tell you how free I feel now that I've started identifying as a woman.
Macho Woman completely dominates the other woman, which parrots a fear that many conservatives have. Trans woman beating biological woman to death in boxing, or breaking every woman's world record at the Olympics. I actually got frustrated watching this episode because it made me think about real-life politics, and it made me want to go complain because I think it promoted what is a simplified and harmful version of an incredibly nuanced position. This is exactly how right-wing people feel when they see woke politics in media. They're tired of trying to enjoy shows and movies that are constantly pushing messages that they disagree with. And it's especially annoying when the wokeness comes off as phony or pandering. How many times have we seen that article titled Disney's First Gay Character? And then that character appears for maybe 3 seconds on screen, which makes it incredibly convenient for the studio to remove that scene for any country that doesn't want to see it.
China.
Meanwhile, they filmed their movie next to a concentration camp for Muslims. I'm not an evil corporation. I put a gay character in my movie. See? See? Okay, so people from the left and the right can have political messaging ruin their shows. But does this mean we should stop having politics in our media?
Agreed.
No, wait.
Media has always been political and will reflect the politics of the time. Media is made by people. Yeah, even Disney media. I know it's nice to think that the creative team takes orders from some Cronenberg blob manifestation of corporate interest. But even with all these studio interference and catering to a foreign audience,
China.
the people that make these shows have real lives and real experiences that they want to include in their work.
And it's something, you know what I'm saying, I'll talk about a lot, like, cause I was born in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, came up in the 90s, and I loved watching, you know what I'm saying, like pop culture movies. I love watching movies with black leads.
Now, not all media is political, but a whole lot more of it is than you might think. And whether you notice it or not depends on how subtle it's being and how well it's written. Take this tweet from famous Scottish dog trainer Count Dankula. Apparently, the upcoming Alien movie will be about what happens when the inequality we're struggling with now isn't resolved. To which Count Dankula replies, "That's cool, but I don't think I'll bother then, since I like my Alien to be about aliens." Except, Aliens was never just about aliens. The first and the second Alien films have clear anti-corporate messages, the protagonists being disposable and underpaid workers, and the antagonists being giant soulless conglomerates, who will lie and kill to achieve their goals. But while these are the obvious themes of the movie, they're not the focal point, but rather vehicles to move the story. The soulless corporation may have driven the plot, but in this scene, we as an audience are thinking, I want Ripley to beat the alien, not, I wonder if Ripley's gonna sue this corporation when she gets back to Earth. This degree of subtlety allows for more escapism, as real-world problems aren't being shoved in your face, but are still integrated into part of the story. But if you aren't explicit enough for mainstream audiences, you can allow those with the opposite intentions of the author to appropriate the medium. Take 1984, a book about the dangers of totalitarianism written by a democratic socialist to criticize Stalin, and used by Republicans to criticize democratic socialists.
What a mess!
Or Starship Troopers, an excellent satire of a fascist military culture which is propped up as an ideal society by meritocratic fascists. Politics in media then becomes a balancing act of driving home the message you want to convey so that it can't be misinterpreted, but not making it super obvious and in your face to the point of breaking immersion. But this begs the question, is it only annoying when it's contemporary politics? Since socialism is gaining traction nowadays, are conservatives going to get mad at kids' shows that tell us to share? Oh. I like to think that when people say, I wish media wasn't so political now, what they actually mean is, I'm just now realizing that media has political messaging. And what they actually notice is when a writer crams a political message into their show about as smoothly as this Olympic diver. If your political message is too on the nose or out of place, it can feel like a G.I. Joe PSA. You know, the ones where G.I. Joe takes a break from committing war crimes, turns to the camera, and tells you that drugs are bad.
Hold it! Don't go on the ice! You'll only add more weight! Snow job! And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
I noticed one of these moments in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In one episode, the two main characters are investigating a black man who was also given the Captain America Super Soldier Serum. They actually have an interesting discussion pertaining to the history of race in America. The black super soldier, Isaiah Bradley, survived horrible experiments run by the government in their attempts to recreate Captain America. Experiments that killed many other black soldiers. Bradley was sent on suicide missions and was neglected and sidelined for his race, despite his heroic and brave accomplishments in the Korean War. His story reflects many true stories of black Americans, like those in the Tuskegee experiments, or black soldiers in World War II, Vietnam, and countless other conflicts. This entire scene brings up important parts of American history that are often overlooked, while tying into the show's theme of public perception and acceptance. So what was too on the nose? Well, like 30 seconds after their conversation, this happens.
So you're telling me that there was a black super soldier decades ago and nobody knew about it? Hey. What's up, man?
Is there a problem here? Can I see your ID?
I don't have ID. Why?
Sir, just calm down.
I am calm. What do you want? We're just standing here
Just
talking.
give him your ID.
No,
so
I'm
we
not
get
giving
the
him
hell out of
shit.
here.
We're just talking.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering you?
No, he's not bothering me.
Now this, and worse, almost definitely happens in real life. And I get that it was probably trying to contrast the historical racism that the soldiers faced with the current racism of police brutality. But it doesn't work, for a number of reasons. The juxtaposition from the previous scene, the timing, and the dialogue give it all the subtlety of a Family Guy sketch.
He's got a knife! Stay down! Stay down! Cleveland, try to grab my gun. Oh, trying to grab my gun, are you?
Not to mention that this is happening to the guy that saves the world and fights aliens. Ultimately, despite understanding and actually agreeing with the anti-police profiling message, this scene did pull me out of the show, and I get why it did for others. That all said, I did like that they finally let the superhero that's supposed to represent America execute an unarmed combatant in broad daylight.
See that? That's the way to do it. That's old school. Yeah? No school like the old school.
Okay, so not everyone is going to have the same politics, so not everyone's going to agree with every message an entertainment medium tries to push. Or maybe you're even like me and you agree with the politics but think the messaging is ham-fisted. But overall, it's a good thing to put messages in your media.
I am sickened, but curious.
Aside from coups and freedom, America's biggest export is the media we produce. It's watched by people everywhere in the country and around the world. The messages that we put in our media have profound effects on how the public views an issue. This famous scene from Star Trek was one of the first major interracial kisses on television. At the time, people complained about its breaking of societal norms and called it degenerate. And something tells me if this came out today, people would call it woke. But it paved the way for media depictions of interracial couples, and thousands of white boyfriends to get the N-word passed. Messages that you disagree with can also help change things for the better. The film Silence of the Lambs is often criticized for its depiction of trans people. In it, the antagonist Buffalo Bill desires to be a woman, and when denied a sex change operation, decides to kill a bunch of women and wear their skin.
Level of unprofessionalism. Far too much.
While at the time this depiction was harmful for trans people, today the film is used to critique trans fearmongering. Also, representation matters. And I don't mean that your favorite character has to be the same skin color as you. If I can relate to the T-Rex from Toy Story, or want to f*** the girl ant in Bug's Life, it's clear that skin color doesn't matter for my enjoyment of entertainment. But if characters of certain races or backgrounds don't deviate from certain stereotypes, people of all races can form unhealthy views. I know a lot of Europeans whose only depiction of black people is rap videos and Black Lives Matter riot footage that's shown on Fox News. And for some reason, these white Europeans really like saying the N-word.
What a fucking nig.
When you expose these people to well-written characters with different cultural and ethnic backgrounds, you dispel those stereotypes. If that means changing a character's race so that someone can get a positive depiction of a person of color, I think it's a fair trade-off. If something is promoting a message that you dislike or think is harmful, you can stop supporting that product, or speak up against those messages, or buy a bunch of that product and then burn it, to totally own the company. Yes, lefties, it's annoying when people go on the internet and complain about shows that you enjoy because they made Spider-Man the wrong color. But sometimes woke politics, or just politics in general, ruin something because it's disagreeable or just terribly written.
Jim Acosta, CNN?
Oh, seriously, man, how do you keep getting in this room? I mean, I'd love to just build a wall around Jim.
But if this woke stuff or other messages piss you off, take a moment and reflect on why you feel challenged, and consider taking a step back and re-evaluating your position.
Are we the baddies?
You'll likely come to the same conclusion you had before you were questioned, and that position may even be the right one.
Everyone is stupid except me.
But at the very least, it's good to ask ourselves why we think the way we do, and seek a better line of thought if offered to us. Politics and media shift the Overton window, for better or for worse. It's our job to promote it when we think it's good, and fight against it when we think it's bad.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
Having these debates and conversations about these issues allows people to explain their points of view and get more people on their side. Or, if they're bad ideas, allow for pushback and a change in cultural attitude. So go out there and watch woke comic book shows so that you can debate whether 17th wave feminism has gone too far. Go watch Ben Shapiro's movie that suggests to stop school shootings, children just need to be more like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Consider how you can probably watch this media without paying. But always remember that media and politics are inseparable, and unlike having sex with that girl ant from Bug's Life, consuming and critiquing entertainment is natural and pushes our society forward. Thanks for watching. Please like if you did, and subscribe if you think my cat is cute. Leave a comment if there's another topic that you want to see explored. And remember, chill. Take the soy pill.